Hey everyone, Waluigi K here. Getting together movies for these lists, I do feel that I should also give a shout out to the movies that came out in the past decade or so, at least at the time of recording this video, that I believe are going to go down as gay movie classics. Okay, let's get this list started with 2011's Weekend. Have you ever met someone and you seem to just click together? Like you just have a connection, but you're not at all at the time and or place where a relationship would work, even though you could just feel that something's there, something could develop. Enter the sweet limerence of Weekend. This brilliant British film tells the story of Russell and Glenn, two men who meet one weekend after Russell goes to a bar. What follows is the events of that weekend and an insight into both of their lives, their views of the world, and homosexuality. The two form a connection and enjoy each other's company. Well, what I said before was foreshadowing because around the end of the first act, we find out that Glenn is actually leaving for America to study abroad. Bursting with great and tender moments with great writing and acting by our two leads, Weekend can and should easily be considered a modern gay classic. Even if it gives me all the feels and that slow, intimate long shot of them at the train station is burned into my memory. Next up, 2013's Freefall. I feel that just like Weekend, this one has probably caught the eye of a lot of people looking up the queer cinema genre. Freefall tells the story of Mark and Kay, two police officers in training at the academy. Mark has a child on the way with his partner Bettina, and while not flamboyant about it, Kay is an out gay man, something that no one but Mark finds out after Kay's advances and later his colleagues when they raid a gay bar. Now, I'm not here to normalize infidelity or bisexual erasure, which is a whole issue I'll talk about someday, but with watching this movie for this video years later, I picked up a few things. Despite the time that's passed since my initial watch and whether or not I liked the ending, some parts of this movie have indeed ingrained themselves in my memory. To me, those are the marks of a classic. A common theme to tie these movies together is that things don't always go as planned. With this most recent viewing, I concluded that truly, life is and can be a messy freefall sometimes. You can see pieces of yourself in Mark struggling to understand his new feelings, as well as Kay's longing to be something more as he himself discovers that he's fallen in love. Yes, this movie does fall into the traps and tropes of queer cinema, but something about Freefall ultimately embraces them. And it just says, yeah, things can suck, but keep going and remember to breathe evenly. Last up for this video is 2017's God's Own Country. I'd consider this one to be currently one of my favorite modern day gay classics so far. Beautifully shot countrysides and allegoric imagery abound, this film tells the story of Johnny, who is working on his family's farm and having to do a lot of the heavy lifting, as the only other two people on the farm are his ailing father and grandmother. Johnny isn't exactly too happy with his life and he's fallen into the routine of drinking and having promiscuous sex with men. Enter Jorge, a Romanian immigrant hired to help around the farm. The two start off on a bit of a rocky relationship, but Jorge quickly puts Johnny in his place and demands respect. Though their relationship is a bit hostile at first, Jorge is a caring soul and still offers compassion to Johnny despite his nature. As they end up being away from the farm to take care of the sheep, Johnny lets his guard lower a bit and they get better acquainted, if you know what I mean, and romance ensues. Featuring some of the best depictions of intimate moments along with fantastic casting and acting, God's Own Country never fails to put me in a great mood after the credits roll. Remember that green means that you won't get your heart broken, so you can safely revisit this modern classic time and time again and get lost in Alex Sekaranu's gentle, longing stares or be in awe of Josh O'Connor's amazing performance. There you go. 3 movies from the past decade that I think rise to the top and are well on their way to becoming modern gay movie classics. LGBT cinema has expanded tremendously in the last 10 years and some span multiple regions, languages, scenarios. I chose just 3 here, but there are many more that I can think of that are saved up for another video. If there are queer movies from the past decade that you think are well on their way to becoming classics, let me know. In fact, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and even leave a comment. I swear I read them, I'm just getting content ready for more videos. Classics Part 2 will be coming out soon. Until then, Waluigi K, out.